Alright, fellas. Well, that pretty much went exactly how most of us expected. Mike Tyson just stepped back into the ring against Jake Paul in what was hyped as one of the most bizarre yet anticipated fights in recent memory. And if you watched my last video, you'll know I said we all needed a reality check. And that's exactly what we got. This fight wasn't just a bout. It was a case study in how powerful marketing can be when it overshadows common sense. Let's be real. While I respect Tyson for getting in there, he had no business being sanctioned to fight professionally in 2025. It was a circus dressed up as a main event. So in this video, I want to break down Fight Week, the fight itself, and where this freak show leaves both fighters moving forward. Because if we're being honest, this wasn't about boxing, it was about business. Everyone, myself included, was intrigued when this was first announced. I mean, come on, it's Tyson. But as the fight week kicked off, that illusion started to crack. All those flashy 15-second pad work clips made Mike look like the old-school animal he once was, but those videos were cut and edited with surgical precision. The truth came out during the public workouts. I had one screen open uploading my last video, and the other watching Tyson's public pad session. 1 minute in, the man was breathing heavy, his coach trying to sell us something none of us were buying. He looked spent, and that was just the beginning. At the press conference, Tyson seemed completely checked out. Not angry, not intense, just over it. And yeah, fair play, he's been dragged through endless media tours. Anyone would be exhausted. Then came the weigh-in. Both guys were in decent shape, and we got that little slap moment which made for an iconic photo but meant absolutely nothing for the fight itself. As for fight night, look, I won't go too deep into the undercard here unless you want me to do a breakdown, but a couple of things stood out. Ramos vs Barrios ended in a draw, solid, scrap, and I'd love to see a rematch. But the real highlight was the co-main, Katie Taylor vs Amanda Serrano 2. Best fight of the night by a mile. Women's boxing at its peak. Tight decision, not a robbery. I had Serrano up by a round, but a draw wouldn't have been crazy either. It's just a shame the MVP commentators were so blatantly biased. Serrano's their golden girl, so of course they tried to spin it like Katie got gifted the win. But now, let's talk about that main event. From round 1, it was clear Jake Paul was being cautious. He didn't know what version of Tyson would show up. But the second he landed a few clean shots and saw how Tyson reacted, legs wobbling, feet flat, no angles, it was game over. Jake and his team weren't just fighting, they were managing optics. They had different plans depending on what Tyson looked like. If Iron Mike came out swinging, they were ready to brawl. But since he came out looking like a 58-year-old who hadn't fought in years, they coasted. Let's be honest, knocking out Tyson would have been a PR nightmare. Yeah, Jake would have gone viral, but not in a good way. There's such a thing as too much heat. That's why Jake dialed it back. He landed what he needed and coasted to a safe result. Tyson's movement was completely gone. No explosiveness, no footwork, no ring IQ left in the tank. Just instincts, like biting his gloves, a habit from his prime, but now it looked more sad than scary. You could tell he wanted to go out swinging, but the body wasn't there to back it up. Still, credit to him for stepping through the ropes at all. My issue is with the people who let this happen. Everyone involved in making this fight, from the sanctioning bodies to the promoters, should be questioned. Tyson should never have been cleared for this. And as for the folks hyping him up as still being dangerous in sparring, they were selling dreams. Tyson himself says he feels like he's got more in the tank. Yeah, that's what $20 million in the bank will do to you. If Tyson does fight again, and I hope he doesn't, it needs to be something like the Roy Jones Jr. exhibition. Something controlled against someone his age with zero real stakes. Not this. I'd much rather see Mike enjoying life with his family than risking his health for paydays. Now, Jake Paul. Where does he go from here? Despite the event being massive, I don't think this win does anything for his stock. If anything, it's neutral. Doesn't help, doesn't hurt. So where next? There's talk of him going into MMA again, maybe a PFL fight. That'd make him a big check and buy him time to reset his boxing narrative. Because in boxing, there's Not much left. Nobody wants to see him against retired legends anymore, and MMA fighters. He already rinsed that lane. The Tommy Fury and KSI fights are in limbo, and both have proven ridiculously difficult to make. His MVP teammate, Niraj Goyat, looked awful on the undercard, so that's a no-go too. But I'll throw out one name. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Washed up, yeah, but technically active. Jake could spin it as finally fighting a real boxer, maybe even at Bridgerweight. You know how sanctioning bodies love a fee, they'd slap a belt on it in a heartbeat. Don't be surprised if that happens. So, wrapping this up, this whole event was more of a marketing win than a boxing one. Tyson deserves respect for his legacy, but this shouldn't have happened. It wasn't a tragedy, but it wasn't far off from being one. And the people pushing the false narrative around it? They'll probably now pretend it never happened. But I want to hear what you think. Were you disappointed? Relieved? Angry? Did Jake surprise you? Or was this always the obvious outcome? Drop your thoughts down below. As always, thanks for watching Knock On. I'll catch you in the next one.